But this is the problem. This is what I'm talking about.
Come on, mate, it's just marketing. You should know.
No, it pisses me off. How hard is it to look like your profile photo? And the answer is not bloody very. Okay, so I automatically know I'm not attracted to her, right? But I'm not just going to be a jerk and leave her on the side of the road and drive off. No one wants to be that guy. So I've got to, I've got to be the gentleman and take her out to dinner.
What a hero.
Let's just agree all men are assholes.
Easy.
You can definitely be one. Doesn't mean I don't love you.
I can sort of contain the entire horror film into like 15 minutes. I thought it was a really sort of brisk approach to what you would typically see in the horror genre. So I thought it was impressive how they were able to pull it off, mixing the stuff, that kind of comedy you expect in the open, the kind of build-up that you expect over the runtime of a feature film. And I thought it had a good approach to sort of a surprising reality-bending ending that you would expect from this kind of piece. And I thought that the performers really sort of reflected the kind of characters you would see in this type of narrative, and they had a good cinematic approach in terms of mixing the music you heard and the sort of camera work and the cinematography in a way that I thought was very effective for the style of piece. So I thought it was well done, especially in the short run time.
I'm one for motifs, so seeing that the sign in the beginning for the falling rocks, I knew it was going to come back some way, but not the way that I thought it was, which is even better than already knowing that a motif is happening. So I thought that was really, really cool. Her having a miscarriage and kind of just not being able to deal with it for herself, and then in the end kind of losing the one person who she had left was so heartbreaking, but also so interesting to see, because it's an interesting take to think that, like, her being on the brink of death, she's also thinking about, like, she's aware that her friends are dying, but she's not exactly sure what's going on. And I think that actress, she did a very good job kind of conveying this feeling of helplessness and loneliness and loss. I thought she did a really good job.
Really nice opening drone shot, by the way, over the forest. I love that a lot to really bring us into where we are. I had written down, why would you leave this girl by herself? But it makes sense after you have the twist happen. And my God, what a twist. They set it up. They showed us the sign. But God, it's like two different movies in one. It was so brilliant to me. And the Sandman song at the end, and I think it might have been another time during the movie. I loved the Sandman song. There was a couple things, going on, of course, with the loss of their baby at one point. Maybe they were taking this trip to kind of get away from it all with their friends. But I really, really like that this was all going on in her mind, and maybe a collective mind, actually, until they each died. And then it was her by herself trying to survive at the end. God, just so brilliantly done. And it was like a mix of a horror movie and just this tragic, real occurrence that I can't explain. It was just a really cool combination, a really cool mix of things, and really deep, really.
Heartbreaking ending, so to speak, and not because a lot of people die in this movie, right? This is told in a horror fashion, but the truth is this is more of a psychological drama than a horror, so to speak. They do play on the elements of horror, especially when it comes to the sound design and the buildup of the thrills and having the slashing of the kills one by one as each character faces their demise. But the reality of the situation is our leading lady, our final girl, so to speak, has just experienced such immense loss and trauma. And this is how her brain has decided to process the information. There is a disparity and a dissensitivity to the relationship between her and her husband, as they've just had some form of miscarriage, so to speak, and they're both dealing with that loss in different ways. And he is trying to move forward in his life, but she can't seem to let go, and she's going through an unbearable pain that not even her husband can understand what she's going through. It's very bone-chilling and it gave me goosebumps in the end, especially as we led back into the song that we started out with. It really shows that this connection that we have to music and memories really does stick with us. And, you know, it was just an eerie way to kind of close this piece.
And the thing that stood out for me was this ominous falling rock sign. And I was wondering, is this foreshadowing? We're holding on this for a while. Um, and then also the really beautiful shot of the moon. It had like some blues in it. And it just was a shot that I remembered. The shift from this light jovial tone once the night hits to one of intensity and fear as they're searching for Tanner. We don't see the assailant for these first few kills. We don't see the assailant ever, actually, which I think makes it even scarier, in my opinion, because you don't know what we're looking for, who we're looking for. When the female character finds a home where she discovers their pictures, it seems like a major point in the film. And it's also like a realization that happens there, that she is now alone and all her friends have gone, especially after hearing the last of the survivors dealing with the fire and everything in the car. Something though is drawing her further into this home. And then we get to a door, she opens it, white light, and it skips this ending where bodies are discovered and she's found with this severe cut in her stomach, and you assume, is the organ removed? What happened? It leaves you with a lot of questions of like, okay, who is the bad guy? What was it? Why was she spared and no one else? And I think the fact that we never really get the answers to that leaves you with this sort of eerie feeling.
It was a very classic horror monster in the woods kind of feel to it. But it also dealt with a lot of elements when it comes to mourning and grief when it comes to losing one's child. Cinematography was out of the park. I very much enjoyed it. It did a really good job of building that suspense and tension while gradually picking off each of the players in this one by one.